We love Ed. Welcome to ComX Recent Reads. This is Sis with a croaky voice. Oh, can everyone else hear that?
It's got bass in the place.
Oh.
It just matches that theremin from the intro music, man.
Okay, cool. Whew. Okay. Yes, this is where we talk about books we've recently read. I don't know if I have more of an intro like that. I'm extremely tired from the weekend. Yes, I'm that kind of old man who's still recovering a good 24 hours later. But yes, so our guests tonight, I've got some comments. I'll go off that page or else I'll get distracted. We have, well, there's always Ed of Radical fame. We have Shannon Browning, who is now of rotating fame on this show and also on the off week of Drink and Draw. Then we have Lee Chalker, who's from Chinwag, and Kylie Ralph, who I don't know where you're from.
Hello.
She's just famous for being Kylie Ralph. So that's
right. I have many things that I do.
Of course, me. So we get to the main part of the show now. Sorry, I am really tired. And the camera's throwing me as well because I seem to be sitting right down low, so I'm quite short today.
Yeah.
Before we do anything else, though, we'll get some comments in, Ed.
All right, we've got hello from Kerry.
Hello, Kerry.
They are live from Nathan. Hey, Sis from William.
Thanks, William.
G'day, Legends. How was Comic-Con, Sis from Jeffrey.
I'll talk about that
Got
soon.
Ray with Hey All. And Will, hey, panel and chat. And Justin from Justin. Let's go.
Cool, Justin. Okay, like as usual, I usually like to start and say a little thing where I go, this is how you don't do it. But I'm going to go right out there this time. And I'm not even going to talk about a book because I've been so busy with the Oz Comic Con this weekend. I have read nothing. I have bought lots of books. Yes, classics is. I've bought lots of books, but I haven't read any because I've slept pretty much from yesterday afternoon to this afternoon. Not this morning, this afternoon. So I have a lot of catch up to do. So I'll just talk about the Oz Comic Con. It was a great time. It was here up here in Brisbane or down here in Brisbane, wherever you're from. There were, and I forgot to write down everyone's names. There were lots of people there. I'm not going to name anyone or else I'll forget someone, then I'll feel bad. So there was lots of Australian creators there. There was lots of
like that lag on your internet.
Sorry? Is my internet going wrong?
No.
Oh, okay. So I just heard the word internet and went, oh crap, is it crapping out again? Camera's over here. And there was lots of comic creators. I got to talk to a lot of them. We did some interviews. So that was a lot of fun. Me and Hugh McGowan. And what more can I say without naming people and forgetting someone? I got the King's Comics was there for people. They were apparently one of the sponsors. There was lots of other little things there. I don't know why I named them, but they were the biggest area. They had this lounge area that was kind of cool, where people could sit on beanbags and read comics. And that's also where the guys from the other side of the area had to go when they were doing their presentations and stuff. So I found that quite weird. They made them go to the other side, away from their booths. But yeah, apart from that, really fun time. Shitload of cosplayers as usual. Some amazing costumes. I will pick one. This dude who was like this armored, like it sort of reminded me of a Starcraft armored marine, but had all these patterns on it, so it was something a little bit more intricate. But he was massive. Like he must have been on stilts underneath those boots, because it was like walking around.
Awesome.
So that's my really bad talk about the Oz Comic Con.
Nice.
That was shocking. What? Has anyone got any questions about the Oz Comic Con? If not, we'll move on to the next person. No questions?
Was it
No,
fun?
It was fun, yes. It was fun. I had a great time. Very tiring. And my feet are killing me still. Lots of walking around. But yeah, in that case, we're not going to talk about this anymore because I don't know what to say. So we're just going to go straight to Shannon, and he's going to tell us about his book, which I was meant to ask him at the beginning what his book was, but we're just going to surprise everyone now.
That's all right. Well, I won't make the mistake I did last week where I just went into the review. I have grabbed my copy of Common Grounds, which is from 2004. It's an anthology series written by Troy Hickman. I'll go into more detail in a minute.
No, this is where you get to talk about it.
Oh, we're doing it a different way.
Yeah, you're doing it properly. Yeah, I forgot to introduce you with it, so that was my fault, not your fault.
Okay, Common Grounds. Common Grounds, as I said, anthology series. It's all set in a franchise donut and coffee shop set within a comic superhero universe.
Oh.
And it tells all these great little stories of superheroes that you wouldn't normally think about. It was originally like Troy Hickman is a writer. He's not a great artist, but he does do art. He had drawn it by himself originally. It was done under the titles of Holy Crullers. And he got a bunch of his comic friends to redraw it for him. So Dan Jurgens has done like several stories. Sam Keith of the Max has done at least one story. Some of the others I don't recognize the art, unfortunately, but like some like really great artists are doing the work. But the stories are things like a character like the Flash, like a super speed character, is talking about how much he doesn't enjoy life. Like he's always moving. He's always in fast forward. He can't have a relationship because, either he's too quick while he's with someone, or he has to wait for them, which is like waiting for a bus for like 12 hours. There's a story about a couple of superhero kids whose father was one of the biggest supervillains around. And after their father passes away, they get given like their inheritance. And part of it is his diary, where it revealed that he was originally trying to be a superhero and just lost his way. There's a hilarious one where like a superhero and his main villain both both using the bathroom in the Common Grounds restaurant at the same time. So they're having a conversation with each other that they've never really had a chance to before, while they're stuck in the bathroom stalls next to each other. There's a bunch of like just great little stories like that where you kind of analyze an element of like the superhero universe that normally you wouldn't think of. I do remember years ago, I actually emailed the writer who owns all the properties and tried to get permission to turn one of the stories in this into a short film. Apparently, they just sold the rights to some big studio, and they're going to produce something from it, which never eventuated into anything else. So he couldn't give me the rights or allow me to do that. But yeah, it's a great book. It really is. I'd forgotten about it for a longest time. I mean, that's one of the great things about moving and then repacking and sorting everything is you find all these great little gems that you completely forgot that you own. But I don't know how obscure it is now. Like I said, it was printed in 2004. I've had it all that time. If you can track it down, it's really worth a read because like the stories are only like 4 or 5 pages long, but they're brilliant. They're really, really great stories. So highly recommend it.
Cool. Thanks, Shannon. I think I actually might have read the version that was his art because I remember something in the 90s, similar stories.
Yeah, It does.
It might have been. I might have found it through Wizard though. I might have found it through Wizard.
I think that's where I found out about it originally, because like there's his art. I'm sorry, my camera is not focusing on it too well.
Yeah, it's not.
The versions he did with his art.
I can see enough.
There we go.
Oh yeah, there you go.
The other version, like one of the covers there. Yeah, I remember. Now that you bring it up, I do remember reading an article about it in Wizard magazine back in the day. And so when I found this and was looking it up and was checking it out and thinking, wow, this sounds familiar. This reminds me of that article. Yeah. And then found the thing in the back said, oh, it is the exact same thing. He's just had it redrawn.
Just redrawn. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, like yeah, I'll just bring up the ornament. Like that's
some in color. Cool.
Yeah, it's all in color as well. So it's all professionally done.
That was the old stuff. Yep, I get you now.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was a great story about a bunch of superhero characters that have all gained weight. And so they're having a meeting like for overweight superheroes, and they're telling stories of how their like gaining weight has made it nearly impossible to to use their powers anymore. Like one of them shrinks, and he used to ride to get the battles on the back of little birds that he would train, but he got too heavy for them, and they started like dying from exertion.
Cool things.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of elements like that, and it's not all comedy stuff as well. Like the one with the super speed character, like at the end of the book, like he's being interviewed by a reporter, and he basically says that, like, along the lines of like, I'm really hoping that because my metabolism's so fast and everything else is so fast, that I won't live that long. Oh, and it kind of ends on that note. Dark. And it's like, oh wow, that is really dark. You know, and just yeah, I highly recommend it. Like I thought it was like I was reading it in the comic store. I was working in a comic book store at the time. And this is one of the ones I found and was reading it, and just like this I actually have to pick up. So I wound up buying myself a copy because I was just so impressed by it.
Yeah, cool.
Nice.
So yeah, that's Common Grounds. Printed.
Who's it through?
Sorry?
Who's it through?
It's through the Top Cow.
Okay.
And Image Comics. So I don't know what's going on with all the imprints in Image anymore. Let's just say it's Image.
Yeah, there you go.
Image is just Spawn and Invincible nowadays, so who knows what's going
on. Cool. Well, thanks, Shannon. Much appreciated. Okay. Should I let one person go before Kylie, or should Kylie jump on in the middle?
Should we do some comments?
Comments, of course. Yes. I'll think about it while we're doing the comments.
Okay. Got Juro, I need something new to read, so show us some cool new stuff. That's Common Ground. We got William, where they picked up Lucky Country yesterday from All Star, with N.S. Kane as the writer and Chris Pitcairn on the art. Haven't finished it yet, but check it out.
Oh, nice.
And then we got Ryan, where they miss Wizard magazine.
Yeah,
me too.
Good times.
I really used to enjoy Wizard magazine. Like, I was one of those standouts. I don't know about you guys. Remember, there was Wizard magazine and there was Hero Illustrated. And I started reading Hero Illustrated, and I was really stubborn and wouldn't swap over. And then Hero stopped being published, so I started picking up Wizard.
Hero stopped pretty quick.
Yeah, I really wish I'd been picking up Wizard the whole time.
I used to get the Hero Illustrateds because they were like the back issues were really cheap, and I couldn't afford to get the new Wizards.
Do you guys remember in Wizard they had the custom action figure pages? Yeah. I was starting to get into that at the time. I did a whole bunch of custom action figures, and there was this one guy, he'd sent in a picture and he'd done like 25 different custom action figures. And so I was determined to do 27 and send the photo in, and I was working with that. years later, I found out that that guy had sent that in turned out to be one of my best friends at the time, a guy named Tony Newton.
No way.
So yeah, I was visiting him at his house and looked in one of his display cabinets, and here's one of these custom figures. And I said, "Oh, that looks like that from that Wizard magazine that I saw years ago." And he said, "Yeah, I sent that in." So weird.
Cool.
I remember you had to be pretty cashed up to buy Wizard magazine too back in the day. They were like 10,
I was cashed up.
something like that, mate.
Yeah.
Back in the day where you would scrape stealing coinage out of the washing machine to run down the road and, like buy $1.50 comics. It was like...
I was working in a factory at the time. So
where were you working, sis?
I was working in a factory, 12-hour rotating shifts, so good money. And I lived in an absolute crap of a house, so the rent was super cheap, unlike these days. So all my money went to comics. Sometimes food as well, but most of the time just comics.
Yeah, Comics and Wizard magazine is why I didn't move out of house at home until I was 29, but we won't go into that.
Yeah. Comics, good and bad.
You want motivation to get out of your house? Just start dating a girl that your parents don't like. And then 4 years later, you realize why they didn't like her, but we won't go into that.
Oh, well, it is a review show, Shannon, so... So,
I don't want to depress the audience too much with some of that.
Any more comments?
I had a fringe when I met her.
Oh, sorry.
You had a fringe.
Got Jeffy Wizard was ace, and I've only seen Wizard vids. Looks awesome. Same with heavy metal. And I got Mr. Dave Dye. Good evening, all.
Hi, Dave.
Cool. So now we decide: shall we pick on Kylie or shall we pick on Lee? Oh, we've got a vote from above.
I don't mind either way.
You make me sweat by going first all the time.
Kylie, tell us about the comic you were reading this week or recently.
So I've been reading a graphic novel called Mercy on Me. It's kind of a fantasy mixed with realism, kind of graphic biography almost of Nick Cave and his work. It's done by Reinhard Kleist, I think that's how you pronounce it. And I absolutely loved it. I wasn't sure exactly what to expect when I first got it. I kind of just went, "Oh, Nick Cave, I love his stuff. I'll grab that and see how it goes." But the way Reinhard has combined sort of true biographical elements with song lyrics, song titles, little bits out of some of the novels that Nick has written, as well as a few sort of fantasy elements, is really, really interesting. Sorry, I'm going to skip to a couple of pages that I've kind of marked down. So, for example, this page here, if anyone can see that, maybe I need to do it closer, I'm not quite sure. Pretty much anybody who has lived through the 80s in particular will know exactly what that's about. Like, even though there's no writing there at all, but the graphics are just so evocative of the times and places sort of thing. The style is really interesting as well. It's very kind of gritty, but also there's a lot of clean lines in there, so it's kind of instantly recognizable as to what Reinhard's sort of expressing and talking about. There's a really lovely bit in here about I love that picture sort of just in general. It's really, even if there was no words in the whole thing, just by looking at that, you can sort of see the combination between Nick's personal addictions, his demons, and then his art, and how at certain times in his life, they've kind of all combined to become one, and he's had a lot of trouble separating himself from the characters that he sings and writes about. It's got a lot of, each chapter is either a song title, like The Mercy Seat or The Ask of the Angel, sort of when he was doing the novel. And then all of the lyrics or words from that novel sort of interspersed within that chapter, as well as what Nick was going through at the time. It's got some really interesting stuff about when, they started out as Boys Next Door, then became The Birthday Party, sort of what was going on in the Melbourne scene. Realised that, if we want to go anywhere, we kind of need to get out of Australia because, late 70s, 80s, the music scene wasn't sort of as big over here, especially not for punk. And then when they go to England and everything that sort of happened over there with the interesting spirals that the group went through sort of individually and together. And then eventually ending up in Germany where the Birthday Party broke up and then they became the Bad Seeds and took on Blixer, and everything kind of is history sort of from that point. But I definitely recommend getting it. Like even it sort of starts with, you can see all of his musical influences, as well as all the political stuff that's going on sort of in each part of the story. And anyone who, I love music, it's kind of saved my life more than once. But anyone who's a music fan, you look at that picture in particular and you know exactly who that character is that they're talking about, exactly what the influence is going to be, and sort of exactly how it links in with sort of Nick's newer stuff where he's kind of not gotten rid of, but he's not quite all about the anger and the violence and the volatility of his earlier stuff, and he's kind of leaning more into sort of back into the blues and that sort of thing. So yeah, I've found it really interesting. I've seen a little bit more of it to read. I haven't quite finished it, but yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking for more stuff from Reinhard. I've really enjoyed it. So
That's awesome.
Nice.
Thanks, Kylie.
No
You're a
worries.
natural, mate. Look at you go.
I don't know how Lee's going to follow that.
God knows.
I do have one question, Kylie.
Yep.
Is there an image in that book of Nick Cave hitting Kylie Minogue in the head with a rock?
Yes. Yes, there is. I had it bookmarked originally and then went, oh, maybe I shouldn't bookmark it. He's even at the very end of the book, like Nick Cave's even done a little blurb on the back for him. And at the very last bit, he's gone, I didn't kill Eliza Day. So see if I can find the picture for that. It's pretty cool.
No, it's one of the most hilarious things of like musical pop culture is that Kylie Minogue's career had kind of stalled really badly, and it got picked up again because she did that song. And she jokes that my career got picked up because I got hit in the head with a rock by Nick Cave.
That's exactly right. And just seeing the two of them together was really interesting as well, because they are not two people I ever would have thought would have done a duet together in the history of music. No. And it was magic.
Yeah, like the James Dean of punk and the pop princess, for crying out loud.
Yeah, exactly. Although I must say, anytime he's done a duet with Blixer Bargeld doing Where the Wild Roses Grow, it's my favorite thing ever. It's just adorable.
That Kylie and Nick would have been Aussie expats in London, though.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how they got together.
I think Kylie was still with Michael Hutchence at the time too, and I think Nick and Michael were quite close. So
yeah,
I think that had a little bit to do with it as well.
Oh, that makes
Well,
sense.
the follow-up single to that was the PJ Harvey one, wasn't it? If I remember.
Yeah,
correctly.
Henry Lee.
Murder Ballads.
And the B-side to Where the Wild Roses Grow was, I think, the ballad of Robert Moore and Betty Coltrane, which is amazing. It reads like a screenplay. I've started writing all sorts of stuff about that one. But yeah, great album, The Murder Ballads. It's really interesting.
Yeah. Indeed.
Cool.
With you.
Yeah. I should have left my little note in here. I can't find the picture now, so I have to.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
That's all good.
It was 50% curiosity and 50% joke. So
Yeah, you did look
Oh, I
surprised
found it.
when Charlie said yes.
Oh,
Oh,
you found it? Can you full
I
screen
found
it?
it. There we go. And where are we? There you are.
Oh.
So the follow-up.
Nice. That's great.
It
That artwork's amazing too. Just seeing like
is. It's
Yeah,
really
it is.
beautiful.
Hmm.
It's very cool.
Mr. Edmund, have we got comments?
yes.
I've been keeping track, so
We got Justin. I just watched Heavy Metal 2000 early today. Should revisit the first one too.
ooh,
Babes and Brutes and Wizard is great. Just look at it the other week. That was a good thing with Bart Sears teaching you how to draw muscles.
yes.
Yep. Peter Lane, good evening.
Hey,
all.
Peter, late as always.
Hey,
Nice.
hey. Good Juro again. I love comics written by musos. I have a cool book called Comic Book Tattoo featuring stories inspired by Tori Amos' work.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Well,
That'd be
cornflake.
cool.
I think Kylie just found her Christmas list with that one.
Yeah.
And can we see the cover again?
Absolutely.
Mercy on
that's really
me.
cool.
Reinhard Kleist.
I got it at Demix when it came out, so they probably still have it there. Otherwise, it's made out by Self-Made Hero, so you might be able to order it through them as
Okay.
well.
Find them, I guess. Cool. Thank you very much, Kylie. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Now, poor old Lee is going to have to follow that because I'm making Ed laugh today. So
I don't know how
I
I'm
don't know
going
if
to
you
do it.
can, Lee.
I'm going to leave now, Shane. I can't best that. So, bye.
Sweet.
See ya.
Yeah, see ya. Catch you tomorrow. All right. So, if obviously people know I'm a big fan of Australian comic books, and I like to promote them as much as I can. So, tomorrow on Tuesday, Chinwag, there's a gentleman called David Bird coming on. He's the guest, and he has a publishing house called Paper Tableau. I don't know how to pronounce it, whether it's French or tableau, as you'd like to pronounce it in an Australian accent. I'm sure I'll clear that up with him tomorrow.
Definitely.
But if it is tableau, then I know a little bit of French, you know. It's like yo play, it's French for yogurt and shit. So anyway, this is this comic here. It's called Tide of Dreams, and it is by Dave Hodson and Greg Gates. So I'm just going to read the interior briefly for you here. So Tide of Dreams is a mystery, and it was a collection in 2000-2001 of an Australian comic book series called Tattoo Man. So Dave Hodson is he's fairly, you know, like well known, was working in the Australian comic book field through the mid 80s and early 90s and stuff. And Greg Gates is another guy that is an amazing artist. I read this comic today at about 1 o'clock this afternoon, and
Very recent.
man, I got to tell you, yeah, it's a rocking comic book, but not rocking in the point where, you know, it's flat out and stuff like that. It's cerebral. It's got a really nice, it's obviously black and white. I'll show you some artwork in a tick, but the one things that I took away from it were it had a really nice, a dreamy sort of mystery feel. You're not quite sure whether you're in a dream world or you're in reality. The story is set in a carnival, and a gentleman gets injured while protecting a young boy, and he wakes up and he is covered in tattoos, and he is the keeper of Midway. And Midway turns out to be this carnival, and the carnival seems to bring forth mysteries along the lines of some H.P. Lovecraftian type monsters, and then it goes into, like, I'd say, some nice Australian motorcycle vibe, like the old movie Stone. Moves into animals attacking people and vampires, and you're never quite sure what's going on with this comic book. And man, the writing was awesome. The whole structure of the comic book is sweet as. It was originally set up as like little 6-issue increments. But this here, Tide of Dreams, they changed the name to Tide of Dreams because they felt like 10 years later it suited the entire comic book more. Man, highly recommended. Dave Hodson and Greg Gates. If anyone knows them, tell them that they're going to be getting a message from me somehow soon to get them on a chin wag, because man, it really like blew me out, this stuff. Like I thoroughly enjoyed this comic book immensely, and probably I read a lot of comic books. I love a lot of Australian comic books. I don't particularly love any more than others, you know, but this gave me the same feelings as probably a year or two ago. I read a comic book called Time Fault by Dave Dye and Roger Stitson that took me off guard, and I loved that comic book, and that's resonated with me for years since I've read it, and that one's going to do exactly the same with me. So I'm not sure where you can get it. It is published through Paper Tableau. David Bird is the man that, as I said, will be guest tomorrow on Chinwag, and he's the publisher amongst this and multiple other books. He's been publishing comic books since the 90s and further and previous to that, so he knows what he's doing. Look him up on Facebook. I'm sure he's around, or tomorrow if you're on watching Chinwag or catch up with it, you'll find out where you can get him. But yeah, man, that was a real surprise package, and yeah, that artwork, man, is I would say that's given me quite a lot to think about in terms of some little styles and a few little things that I learned from reading that, in terms of line work and storytelling, and the gentle use of blacks where you can use lines instead of, etc., etc. Just little things. So yeah, I learned a lot from it from an artistic perspective, as well as enjoying it immensely. So highly recommended. So there you go.
And good use of like negative space as well.
Oh,
yeah.
And I've seen this stuff before, but I'll give you just things like this wave, where are we? Like that, you know, with the line work, using like just darkening the sketching and stuff like that, and the hatching to the single hatches to give the artwork a little bit of form, instead of, you know, just going straight in with black figures. It gives a nice subtlety to it. It makes it a little bit more ethereal, which the story absolutely I think required. It's a really subtle, well-crafted comic book, man. In terms of in terms of a comic book and what it was trying to achieve, I think it succeeded immensely, because it's definitely left its mark on me, and that's not going too far from the drawing desk, because I'll be having a gander at that here and there if I run into any roadblocks along the way and I need a little bit of inspiration or something that might, trigger something in me to, you know, add some thoughts and processes and little tricks into some of my stuff. So yeah, highly recommended. Try track it down. Brilliant.
Nice. The Greg Gates, I know that name. I think, wasn't he like in the early Fox comics and stuff?
Man. Yeah, Dave Hodson and Greg Gates. I actually, Ed, if you give me a second, Fox Comics, I believe, did actually. It's here somewhere. I read it today. Bear with me a sec. If I can't find it, I'll talk about it tomorrow. But yeah, it was in an Australian anthology, Fox Comics, and it was called Tattoo Man. So it's split into six-page like obviously storage for the anthology, but the stories continue. So it was well pieced together. I don't know whether it was designed to be a one-off and they put more into it, or they didn't think they'd get the whole story told. You know what I mean? Like they didn't know how far the comic was going to go. But it's cool, man. Like, yeah, it's so yeah, Fox Comics, one of those classic Australian comic book publishers from the mid 80s into the early 90s from the Melbourne, Victoria area. So you know, a lot of good stuff came out of down there. So you know, find out more. But yeah, they're good. They're good, man. They got heaps of stuff, man. Like
That's
the
awesome.
paper stuff.
I'll
Yeah,
look into that.
high quality stuff. Yeah.
I got nothing. Sorry. I got
Any
nothing.
follow-ups? No.
No, I got nothing. Sorry.
Where's it
Losing my voice.
available, Lee?
Oh,
I
sorry.
have absolutely no idea, Shannon. I'm assuming that if you reach out to David Bird or any of these gentlemen, they may have copies of this around. I received a package of paper to blur books so I could get my head around things for tomorrow night, and we did a swap. And man, there's just hype. Like, it's not just that sort of stuff either, that publishing house. It's like there's some great cartooning work done that'll catch you off guard. There's some real noir sort of things, some deep and dark short stories in other parts of the books too, anthologies and things like that. There's a book I've just read from them, Last Chance collection, I think it's called from memory, by Dave Hodson, which has got 40 odd pages of stuff that was never published in this particular book. And you know, like man, there's some really avant-garde stuff. A lot of it seems to be new, but a lot of it seems to be older Australian comic book stories from that 80s period and earlier, I guess, that aren't available to be published now. So I'm not sure where you can go directly on the web, you know, the internety thingies and all that space and jazz and jive to pick up a copy of it. But I have heard through the grapevine, you know, between us occasionally here and there, David is at comic book, you know, like conventions and gigs and shindigs. But get to the bottom of that tomorrow, Shannon. Like, I'll tell you, mate. I'll even text you tomorrow, and tomorrow I'll let you know. So
Appreciate it.
that's okay. I'll just make a note. You know, like
That was the most complicated I don't know I've ever heard.
I've got
I appreciate where it's coming from.
I probably realised that just the worst mistake you can ask of me is a question, because you'll get a novel in return, dude. All right, so you know, anyone else out there, you'd probably want to leave me in silence for the rest of the evening.
Okay, and mute.
So Ed, any comments? Did we miss
Yes.
any? We did. Cool.
I got great art in that Nick Cave one.
Mm.
And then we've got love trippy stuff in reference to Lee's book. Haven't watched Stone in years.
If you're curious to watch Stone, it's available for streaming on Brolly, BROLLIE. It's a free streaming service. There's a lot of fantastic old Aussie films available on that service. So yeah, I very much suggest you check it out if you're an old film fan, especially old Australian film fan.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome. Free's my favorite price.
You got Dave. Did I miss a review of an issue of Heavy Metal? I've got all issues of the first 8 years. Wow.
Oh wow.
I know you didn't. Someone was just saying it in the comments.
Oh yeah.
There we got someone saying hello.
Saying g'day.
Got jealous of Dave's Heavy Metal collection.
As we are.
Dave saying it blew me away when I discovered it in a newsagent, so just had to collect it. And then there's a cool doco about the Melbourne comic scene.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
Jero, could you actually tell us what the name of that doco is? Because I think,
Indeed,
like,
yeah.
I would love to see it, but I'm sure a lot of the viewers would probably want to check that out as well. So,
Me too.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that. Tell us what it
Cool.
is. Jeru. Yep, that's it.
Cool. Well, that just leaves Ed. So, Ed,
It's me.
tell us what you've read recently.
I have recently been reading this Zot. It's got a metallic
Oh, is that what it is? I was
ink
wondering.
there. It's 1987 to 1991, the complete black and white collection by Scott McCloud. And I've had this for maybe a year or so, and I've been reading it on and off. But I was reminded of it because Sis did the Understanding Comics last week, so I picked this up again and read a few more issues. And so this is Zot, I believe, was Scott McCloud's first comic book that he did, and it's there was a 10-issue color series that he did before this one.
Mhm.
And so this was a black and white comic book. I can't remember who it was originally published by, but it was one of the American independents, like Eternity or someone like that. But it's
yeah.
so this is from 87 to 91, and I believe the Understanding Comics came out in like 93. So I think he would have finished doing this one and then started writing and getting all the reference and studying and stuff for Understanding Comics.
Mhm.
And so in even in this one, he's starting to do like manga elements. You see that guy's face. It's very
yeah.
like manga influenced. So he's trying to do like a melding of the Japanese and the American art styles. And I got some pages marked out. So there's some really nice drawing. Like there's a
Oh, wow.
cityscape
Beautiful.
on the double page spread. And so the actual story is Zot is like a teenage superhero from a different dimension. And put that back.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if that was you.
So he's a teenage superhero. You see he's coming out of the warp there on the cover, and he meets that girl, and I can't remember her name, but it's like it's fun superhero stories, and like with a bit of teenage drama thrown in. So the future that Zot comes from, it's like it's America, but in the future, and it's in a like a utopia sort of thing, but there's still a bit of crime, but the crime's almost like fun at times. It's like cartoony sort of stuff, and the real world stuff, like what would be our world, is kind of dour and more like down to earth and boring. But there's lots of stuff going on. There's the girls.
Sorry.
So they're having a heart-to-heart conversations, tears and all sorts of stuff going on. So the artwork's really it's really good black and white art, but the use of screen tones and hatching and the solid black and the negative space, there's a really good, every time I turn to a page there's a great like example of the stuff I'm talking about. So there's like all the tone, there's the lines from screen tones, which is very like manga inspired. And so that's the basic gist of it. This is the thing I wanted to show everyone, because this is leading up to Understanding Comics. There's this bit where there's a kind of there's a villain who's been put into a robot body, and he sees the world like this in this abstract kind of
Oh, cool.
like his robot vision is abstracted. He's called Deco. He's got that Art Deco building head. I can't like the thing. Where is it? There.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
So he's been put into an insane asylum, and he's tricking them to think that he's been cured. Because I think he might have been a murderer or something before he was put into the robot body. And that he's pretending that he's been cured from his whatever was wrong with him. But he turns up at Zot's house when they're having a party with all the kids. And then there's this sequence here where this is in his abstract vision, where he's grabbed the guy by the throat and then he's shaking him. And then there's the head splat.
Goodness.
And the way that he's drawn it and set it up is that, like, to the bad guy, it's not a person, it's just these shapes. And then having that super violent scene in a what's basically just a fun kind of teen comics thing. It's really well executed, and it's really clever the way he's done it. And it's another thing that I found interesting. So it's 87 to 1991 when he was putting these comics out, like an independent comic. So it's at the tail end of the big black and white comics independent boom in America. It's just after Watchmen and Dark Knight Returns, which were like 86. So he started a year after that. And he's making this kind of cartoony, fun, it's like intelligent book that then ends its run bumping right up into the start of the 90s comic boom with just before the Image guys leave Marvel. And if this book came out now, I think it would be like really popular with the subject matter, like the young adult stuff that's really popular now, and like the art style is more cartoony. It's not like this stylized muscles and veins popping out everywhere, sort of superhero stuff. And it's just like one of those things where something comes out like just at a weird time. It's like it's kind of this trailing and coming before, and at the same time as all this different stuff was going on in the American comics landscape. And Scott McCloud did, I don't know how many issues it is, but it's a thick book.
Yeah.
And there's lots of there's notes, and he shows how he sets up his comics and stuff. So it's a good insight into how Scott McCloud was making comics back then, and I still think he does it like that now. And yeah, and just seeing the way he was thinking about it, and then how that translates to what he put into the understanding comics, and how he was you can see him figuring it out as he's going, and then he puts into his most famous thing was the understanding comics. So that is Zot, and if you can find it, and if you're into understanding comics, it's very interesting to see what the cartoonist who made that, what his cartooning was like before he underwent the massive challenge of making such a in-depth book like Understanding Comics. So that's my review of Zot, the complete black and white collection by Scott McCloud.
I want that. That's all I'm saying. I want it. I have to see it now.
Why is it that whenever someone makes a robot, they stick an evil person in it?
Why not?
That's like
some poor dude, like that, good fella, just I want to be a robot and do good,
it's like trying to make super soldiers It never works out well. They always turn bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I think they kind of explained that in RoboCop 2 pretty well, which I think is strange that I'm using that. But they basically said, like the bad people kind of have a little bit of a not inferiority complex. I can't think of the word, unfortunately, but like they're more attracted to the immortality that becoming a robot would, and the power that becoming a robot would give them. And so they'd have a better chance of surviving rather than if you take a good person and strip all his humanity away and put him in this metal thing, you'd have a much harder time with it.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I'm pretty sure they didn't want an actual answer to that question, but I gave one anyway.
I remember Kane. I liked RoboCop 2.
Yeah. It's not the first one, but it's still like not a bad film.
Written by
way
Frank
better than
Miller, too.
RoboCop 3, and also way better than the goddamn remake.
I've never seen the remake.
And it has the comics link because Frank Miller wrote it as well.
He's in it as well.
Yeah, he is. He's the doctor that's making the drug in that trailer.
Yeah, and gets blown up in the trailer.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go.
As all good creators should.
Is that what you
I have
think?
no idea what that was meant to mean. Ed, comments quickly, save me.
Okay. Got Spedsy. Yeah, g'day, mate.
Hey, Spedsy.
And
Hey,
we've got
Hey, Nick.
Boy Recent Readers of Comics. We've got Justin where Shannon. It's called Graphic Novels Melbourne. The title doesn't represent the creativity of those involved. It's from 2014, I think, and is available on DVD here in Australia.
I was just doing a little bit of a Google search. I found it on Letterboxd. Looks like the only place you can really stream it at the moment is on Ozflix AU, which is like a small Aussie-only streaming service. You might be able to find a copy of it, the DVD or a Blu-ray somewhere, or other ways of finding video product.
All totally legal.
I have no idea what you're talking about. No idea.
Yeah. Yo ho, yo ho.
Oh, okay.
Got the Fourth Rook. Zot is one of my favorite comics.
Oh, cool.
Got Shawnee. Looks like Where the Wild Roses Grow is my new earworm.
My business is done.
Yeah. Same, Sean. Same. I didn't even realize, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm singing that damn song in my head.
So what Jeffrey stick a cat in the robot? That's
Never stick a cat in a powerful robot.
No, you don't want to stick a cat in a cat.
I think that's a reference to Bitsy, the tradie cat.
Oh, okay. Of course, I didn't think of that.
I got William. But there's one alien called Zordon. He doesn't put bad people in them. Puts teenagers in robots.
That's a Power Rangers reference.
Ah.
Okay, I was wondering about that.
Took me a minute, yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, we've got Robot Man is a good guy. That Robot Man from...
If you watch the Doom Patrol TV show, that's kind of questionable.
Extreme gross physical media forever. And that is it.
Cool. Well, this is the... Oh, God, I do need a drink.
Your poor throat.
Okay. This is the part of the show where we talk about liking the show, sharing the show with your friends so they can all find out about the show, and then subscribing to the channel, because that will help you see all our other shows as well as this show. We have one on most weekdays, most weeks. We have almost every weekday. Described that very poorly. So yeah, subscribe. It helps us out. It helps us grow. It helps us bring more content to you and your friends and their friends and their friends and their friends. And you get to learn a little bit about Aussie indie comics while you're there. On some of the shows, maybe not this one, but you know. And Doug agrees. Did you hear that? We just got a confirmation from Doug that you have to watch this show and subscribe.
Yeah.
He's asking for his robot suit.
Yeah, well, we've got to build it, and we need the money, so you've got to subscribe so we can get those 1,000 subscribers, and we can pay for the robot body for Doug, and then we are all doomed. Once he's in a robot body, there's no going back. Earth is over. Oh, and the other thing I forgot to say, if you want to be on this show, there is a link that I think Ed will find quickly because he's very good at this compared to me. And we would love you to fill out the form on this page. Maybe Ed's home. Okay, there we go. ComX.show/interest. Go to that page and fill it in and say a little bit about yourself and what show or shows you can pick, multiple shows that you'd like to be on. And then I'll reach out to you and figure out what shows we can get you on. This is a great show for anyone who's not a creator, because all you have to be for this show is someone who loves comics. That's it. That's the rule. You just got to have, and of course, recently read a comic that you like. Yeah, so go to that page if you want to be on the show. That brings us to the part of the show which I think have changed a little. It's where we, instead of getting everyone to plug themselves, we get everyone to tell us if they want to plug themselves. And then we let those people say, yes, plug themselves. Because, yeah, that didn't work out so well last week when I tried to force people. So I'll go first. I'll do my little we have a 1 minute timer. I don't think we're going to need that somehow, except maybe for Lee. And, Don't
ask me any questions.
Don't ask any questions. Just ask him to plug himself. Okay. Oh, no, I've lost the button that gets me to the timer. Oh, there it is. I've lost the plot as well, apparently. Okay. What the hell? I don't know what's going on. I'm pressing the wrong button.
We should have put a timer on. Sis looking for the timer.
Yeah, timer. Yeah, classic. Nice. Thank you again, Stu.
Thanks, Stu.
Yeah, okay. I'll stick the timer on now that I've actually hit the button that says timer. Okay, so this actually makes a noise, so that's handy. I'd probably like to promote all the people in Sydney. Oz Comic Con is on next weekend for you guys, or this weekend. I guess it's the same week. So go to it. I had an absolute ball on Friday. Go there, meet the Australian indie creators and the Australian creators, because some of them they create for the bigger guys as well. Just meet them, get to know them. Just immerse yourself in the beauty that is Australian indie comics and Australian indie creators. And then, look around at cosplayers and other stuff while you're there if you want, if that's your thing. I've got 20 seconds. The other oh shit, the cat's going crazy. The other thing is, I'm Sis from ComX. Watch this channel. We got lots of shows. Watch them all. I'm not going to try to listen because I've only got 9 seconds. So we shall cancel it. Chinwag tomorrow night. Time over. Next person who wants to promote something or themselves. It can be random. Anything. Am I it?
Right. And it's like, it's not even chinwag or anything like that. But if you look at the YouTube subscriptions on ComX, they're at 492 as of before. So 8 away from 500. And I reckon that would be a pretty awesome achievement for everything that everyone in the community has done, if you can get to 500. So if you haven't subscribed already, because I made the mistake a few weeks ago thinking that I was subscribed and went and double checked and found out I wasn't. And I had to subscribe. And, maybe if I've done it, maybe there's others out there amongst the audience and community that haven't done it either. So, even look, man, if you got 8 mums, you got 8 dads, you got 8 brothers and sisters. I don't know if you got 8, 8 animals, just yeah. And get it all over to 500. We're not we don't discriminate here. Everyone's welcome, even if you've got 4 legs or whatever it is, mate. So 500's the goal. So if you can do that, I think I would like to promote that. That
Sorry,
would be
you just ran out of time.
One question.
That noise was, I forgot about the timer altogether. I'm like, why is my phone beeping at me?
That's why chinwags go for 3 hours, Shannon.
Okay.
You're in charge now, Ed.
I don't have a plug, but I do have a recommendation. Found out a few episodes back that there's like a few Transformers fans watching the show.
Yes.
If you get a chance to go and check out that new animated Transformers 1 movie, go see it. It is surprisingly good. It's really good, actually.
Wow.
Probably better than it deserves to be. But I got to see it at a advanced screening on the weekend. And old school Transformers fan, I'd go and see anything Transformers related, no matter how bad it is. But this was great. It really, really was done well. It's a good story, great animation. The characters are fantastic. If you're a fan, all the little cameos and stuff are really good. I don't want to spoil any of the story, but everything is done really, really well. I was genuinely impressed. And the crowd in the cinema cheered at the end of it. I have not heard them do that since Endgame. So, if you get a chance and if you're curious, go and check it out. I think it's worth it.
I haven't heard a crowd cheer since Rocky 4, mate.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
I remember cheering, people cheering to get out of certain movies, but actually cheering in the movie.
Oh dear.
Okay,
Ed.
I'm Ed Keasley. I do a comic book called Radical, which is available on the comic store. My Instagram is at Ed Keasley Art, and so is my Patreon. We can get comics like Cobber, and I also do Sea Mandrels from Earth, which is Savage Sword of Conan meets Sea Monkeys. And me and Sis do a show on Thursdays called Let's Make a Comic Book. And this week we'll be doing a look back at the first 10 pages because we have we're at the halfway mark of season 2. So tune in for that, and you'll be able to see the story so far, and we'll have a look at that and see how it's going. And
if my voice isn't back, it'll be all Ed.
Hmm.
Do I pick on Kylie? No, I won't pick on Kylie.
Kylie did too good.
I'm guessing you've got nothing to promote. Nothing to promote yourself? No, nothing.
Not really. Not yet. There are projects in the works.
That's cool. That's cool. This is the part of the show where Ed plays an ad for me. I'm not sure why we do this, but I love it. I just love that we do.
We're actually supposed to do that before the.
No. Oh, really? Mine's in a different order. Did I write it down wrong? Oh, God.
Are you feeling a little down? Tired of reading the same old books again and again? Looking for something different? Why not head over to the ComX shop now and pick yourself up some freshly inked inspiration?
Oh, sorry, I was getting into that song every time. Okay, this is the part of the show where I thought we then go, hey everyone, if you're watching a show, remember before when I said if you can go to a page and show interest? Well, before we go, let's talk about that again. Let's talk about if you want to be on the show, this is where you go. Write all your information in there. Tell us the shows you want to be on, and then it'll come to me and I'll get to you. So yeah, that would be awesome. We want more people, more variation going on the show. So it'd be great if we get some more people who aren't just comic creators and so forth. Just people who love comics, who recently read a good comic. That's all we're after. And then I go to Ed, and he tells us about the comments that have happened since we started all these other things.
All right. Good. Nathan, are you doing a video from the Comic-Con?
Yes, we are. We've filmed all the interviews. Now we're just chopping up the film and the sound because they were on 2 different devices. So we've got to match them up.
Yeah, good times. Got great time with cool people. Thanks, gang. I will never watch telly again. I'm off to read Aliens What If.
Nice.
Well, that sounds
That's not a bad series.
Got 500. Woo. What if I have 8 personalities, Lee? Should they all subscribe? Yes.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, Shawnee.
They got Eddie taking notes about Transformers. Transformers joke. What does Brawl wear in summer? A tank top.
Brawl transforms into a tank, in case you don't get that reference.
Oh, and that's the last comment. Well, excellent comment to end on. It's been an awesome show. Thank you, everyone, for coming on and telling us about comics that you've read recently. Thank you for everyone who's commented on what the people have spoken about. And thank you for putting up with my raspy voice and raspy, whatever the word is. Classic says, beat you to it.
Wait.
And oh god, I feel like crap. See you next week for another one of these shows, and where we get to talk with some more people about the comics they've recently read and enjoyed. Thank you very much, Justin. And yeah, so good night, all. Like, share, subscribe.
Yes.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Like, share.